We're joined by the legendary Praga Khan, a pioneer in the electronic music scene. Maurice, it's great to have you with us. To start off, could you share with us what initially inspired you to delve into the world of music back into the early 80s?
Whoa.
Yeah.
The thing is that I've been listening to music since the 60s because I had an older brother, and he was 5 years older than I was. So he teach me a lot of music. Like I listened to Led Zeppelin in those days, the Stones, all those bands, the 60s bands, the Trogs, the Tremolos, the Monkees, the whole catalog. When I got into the 70s, and I was more into the glitter scene, like Gary Glitter or Slade, and all these bands, and then in the 70s, late 70s, I was more into symphonic rock.
Okay.
Yeah, with Yes, Jethro Tull,
The Allman Brothers, like you mentioned.
Allman Brothers, King Crimson, listening to a lot of stuff. Yeah. But the thing is that, and that's what I like the most, like listening to all different styles of music, because I know the guys who I was close friends with when I was like 17 or 18 years old. They were listening to Jethro Tull or to Led Zeppelin, but they are still nowadays still listening to that same music, and so they missed all the other like amazing styles that came, like the new wave, the punk, new romantic, all these dance music in general, acid music, techno music, dubstep, like all these amazing moments in music. They missed it because they kept listening to the same thing over and over and over again. So I'm very versatile when it comes down to listening to music.
Awesome. And your stage name, Praga Khan, I'm sure you've been asked this many times. How did you get the stage name Praga Khan?
That's a weird story, because the first record I ever recorded was an album called Shakti, Demonic Forces, and it was like inspired because in those days I was listening to a lot of Indian music. Yeah.
Okay.
And so then I met a lot of people in Brussels who were into that sort of music, like playing the most weird ethnic instruments, and so we did this album, which is now one of the most sought after albums ever that I recorded. So because we only pressed 300 copies of that album, but
So it is a rarity.
it's a rarity. It's like a real collector's item, but I think it's still one of the best albums I've ever done.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you've had an incredible journey since your first single, Rock to the Beat. How would you describe the evolution of your musical style from the late 80s to one of your most recent works like Soul Splitter?
Yeah, in the 80s, it was more. I had nothing to do with dance music in those days because I was listening to all these rock artists, and then at a certain moment, I had a record company called Enter Subway, and there was an artist on that record company, and he had like a record that became bigger and bigger and bigger, and then there was this guy who said, "Oh, you have to do a dance remix of that song," and that was the first time that I came in touch with dance music because I had nothing to do with dance music, and that's when I discovered all samplers and drum machines and everything, and that really inspired me to start making music myself, because in the beginning I was like a record company boss. I had so many artists that were on my label, but I didn't make music myself, and so since that remix, then there was a whole new world that opened to me, and also the first sequencers came in those days with the Atari, or even before that the Commodore C64, like the very first MIDI programs.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah, and I got really inspired by that. And then I made the first couple of songs, and I realized that it was an international audience that I had, because most of the artists in Belgium, when they make a record, then it's like a Belgian thing, and it doesn't go broad. How do you say broader than that? I go to other countries, but the music that I was doing was immediately people in America were interested, in Japan, so I had an international style, but there's nothing that I did specifically to have it, but it must be in my blood, you know. It's like maybe because I listen to so many different styles.
Awesome. And let's see, look at your albums 21st Century Skin and Mutant Funk. What inspired the shift in sound and themes in those projects?
Yeah, 21st Century Skin, but maybe it's a good, yeah, let's say that it all started back in 87, 88. There was a musical wave in Belgium. It was called New
The
Beat.
Belgian Beat, yeah.
New Beat, yeah, like they called it, the Belgian Beat.
Yeah.
And that was, in those days, there were a lot of young producers who invested their money in home studios, and there was this new wave coming, the New Beat. It was a musical wave from Belgium, the only musical wave that was coming out of Belgium in history, you know. And that's when everybody started to make records. They were really creative. They all had their home studios, and then when that wave died out, so the good thing was that people had learned a lot, because they were like experimenting like years and years and years in their studio, and the new wave died out, and there was only one record that kept selling from that entire musical wave, and that was I Sit on Acid. And so we had to find out what was going on with that record, because like, okay, the music style was gone, the only record that kept selling was I Sit on Acid. It was like every month 300 copies, 500 copies, 1000 copies, 500 copies. So after a while we were thinking, where are all these records going to? And they were going to America, you know. Yeah. And that's also the start of the success of Lords of Acid in America. Yeah. That's when we found out, okay, there is a market for Lords of Acid, because Lords of Acid was just a project, because we had, in those days we had maybe 20 different projects, 20 different names, you know.
Right, which brings my next question about the origin of Lords of Acid. You've worked with Lords of Acid, Channel X, The Immortals, and all that's been very influential. Can you share how the Lords of Acid came about in great detail, and what was it like creating that music that crossed over into so many different genres?
Yeah, the thing was that back in the early 90s, so Lords of Acid, we already forgot about it, because it was like an 88, 89 hit. So you had these people in the distributors in America that kept ordering, but we had no idea, because it was way before internet, you know. There was only a fax machine in those days, you know. So we had no idea what was happening with these records. But Praga Khan became really popular in England. And so Injected with a Poison was a very, very big hit.
Great song.
A great song, yeah. I still love that song. And so we became more and more and more popular with the style of music that we were doing. And at a certain moment we got this phone call from Caroline in America. And they said, can you make an album for Lords of Acid? But we already forgot about Lords of Acid, you know. I said, Lords of Acid, yeah, it's one of our projects. And then we had 3 weeks time in between two Praga Khan tours, like a Japanese tour and a UK tour. And I said to Oliver Adams, my co-composer, I said, can we do it in 3 weeks time? I said, yeah, okay, that's work 24/7, because there's only 3 weeks time, you know, so we have to do it now, otherwise we're gonna be on the road again. And then we made that album in 3 weeks time, Lost. So okay, the album was finished. Sent it to America. We kept on touring with Praga Khan. Didn't even think about it anymore, you know. And then we got this first phone call from the States. Yeah, the album is over 100,000 copies. Whoa. And then okay, we kept touring. Then he said 200,000, 300,000, and then there were like a lot of people in the music in the film business in Hollywood that they started to use like Lord Sylvester songs, and then it really took off. You know, then it was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 800,000 copies.
Yeah, and the amount of films that's been in, like Austin Powers, Basic Instinct, Sliver.
Yeah,
Very, very impressive.
Virtuosity, Spy Shagged Me. There's many, and it was especially one movie, and it was I think it was Strange Days, the movie Strange Days.
Yes, with Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah, and that opened a lot of doors for Lord Sebastian because on that same, it was a compilation from the sound score from the movie, and Lord Sebastian was on there, but also Massive Attack was on there, Enigma was on there, and also UB40 was on there with a song. I can't remember what song, but that was the song everybody was trying to get, and so everybody bought that compilation because of that UB40 song. But then, okay, then they also listened to the other stuff. Then they listened to Massive Attack, to Portishead, to Lord Sebastian, and that really helped us to get over the cliff of 500,000, and then you go 600, and then after that we got this phone call from Rick Rubin. He said, "Okay, can I do the new Lord Sebastian album together with you?" Because he said it would be like a real honor for me to co-produce it with you guys, because what I hear, because he was listening to dance music in Europe, but he said most of the people who are making dance music in Europe, they don't have like songwriter capability, and that was for him the most important thing, to get us on his label, because he heard that even though it was dance music, there were always songs, because when you take a song like, to give you an idea, like whatever song from Lord Sebastian, you can play it on the guitar. It's a song. It's not like just a track. Like, to give you an idea, Strange, from the movie Strange Thing, that song, it is a very good song. Like Lover, it's a very beautiful song. Yeah, you hear orchestrals playing these songs, you know, and then you hear that. In a way, it's a good song, and that's different from most of the other dance producers, because they have like this rhythm going on and they get into the trance, and it's not a song. Yeah. It's different.
Awesome. With video games, the inclusion of your music in not only did the movie Mortal Kombat, but the video game franchise still continues to bring in sounds to new audiences. What inspired the music for this iconic franchise, the movies and the video games?
Yeah, with Mortal Kombat, it was we got this call from this video game company, asked us to do an album for Mortal Kombat, the Immortals. You know. So they sent us the demo of the game. They also sent us a biography of all the characters who were in there. There were only 8 characters in those days.
Okay.
Yeah. It was,
Many now.
Sorry?
Many
now,
yeah.
And it was Johnny Cage, Raiden, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Goro. There were 8.
Did you ever play the game?
Yeah.
Did you ever play the game?
Yeah, we played the game.
Who's your favorite character?
For me, it's Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero. Mine will always be Scorpion.
Or Scorpion.
Yes.
Scorpion is also. And so we got all that information. We got the complete biography of the characters. So we dived into the game. We only had like also 4 weeks to do that, to finish that album. And it was the same thing, you know. We sent it over to America, but it was also 93, you know, 93 or 94. So we didn't have had any clue what was going to happen with it, or how it was doing in America. And so we never ever thought that it was going to be like this iconic game anthem that it became afterwards. You know. But we also did a lot of game music in Japan, also for GTA and stuff, you know.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought
Yeah.
your only game was Mortal Kombat.
No, we did GTA. We did like a couple of games, a couple of games, especially in Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Memorable tracks and fan favorites. Of course, most favorite is Injected with a Poison. It's a track that many of your fans still rave about. Can you take us behind the scenes of creating that iconic song?
Yeah, that was a moment. That was one of the few moments in my life, and also together with all of it, that we were 100% sure that it was going to be a hit. Yeah. Because we were living in Belgium, but it's a strange story, but I'm going to tell it. So, okay. So we got the idea to go to England every week to go clubbing, to get really into the atmosphere. At a certain moment, there's this guy, his name was Chucky, he was a DJ in a very well-known club in London, it was called Heaven, like the club at that moment. And so we became friends with the guy because we were there partying every weekend. We took the train to England and went out clubbing. And then the guy Chucky, he said, did you ever take ecstasy? But I don't do drugs, you know. I do drink something, but I don't do drugs. He said, I'm gonna show you what ecstasy does to people. He said, because I was in the DJ booth. He said, watch now. And he was playing a song. I can't remember what song it was. I think it was a song from one of I think I can't remember what song it was. It was a very, very deep, heavy song. He says, now I'm going to show you what ecstasy is. And then he put on Rosella. Everybody's free. I don't know if you know the song.
I don't think I know that one now.
It's like the chorus, everybody's free to feel good.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So people were dancing in this hypnotic atmosphere, and then he put on that record, and then everybody was lifting their hands up in the air, you know. And I thought by myself, that's the recipe, you know. Because in those days everybody was dancing on drugs, especially in London, you know.
Right.
So we went back to Belgium, went into the studio, and we made the first song that we made was the project Digital Orgasm. Running Out of Time. Same ingredient, you know. Heavy atmosphere, deep, dark, and then piano comes in, and there's a voice that's uplifting voice. So we did that song, and it entered straight into the top 40, number 16. Wow. No time. It sold I think 700,000 copies in 2 weeks time, and then he said, okay, this is it, you know. So that was the first time in our lives, you know, and maybe the only time in our lives that we were like making a new direction in dance music, because later Moby, he got inspired by that, and he did the song what was the song again, also a song with the same ingredients, okay, I can't remember the name. So we went back to Belgium, and then we did Injected with a Poison, and we were in the studio. We were completely 100% sure that it was going to be a very, very big hit, which is weird because most of the time we're in the studio, we're working. Yeah, that's not that. It really doesn't exist like a recipe, but at that moment we had the recipe. It was we absolutely knew what was going to happen. So we made a record, we released it on Profile Records. They never had a hit. It was an American company that also had a branch in London, and they released it, and it was their first ever hit. And so we were sure before it came out, and then it opened a lot of doors for us because in those days it was especially Japan that got influenced by the English chart, uh, because in those days it was breakbeat in England.
Right.
Yeah, and in Europe they didn't do breakbeat. So the weirdest thing is that In Take With the Poison never got a hit in Belgium, never got a hit in Europe. Became a very very big hit in Japan, and became a very big hit in Australia and all over the world where they were used to listen to breakbeat, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. You've done a lot of remix tracks for notable bands like White Zombie, Alice in Chains, Rob Zombie. What is your approach when remixing works of such distinct artists, and how do you maintain that essence of the original sound while infusing your style?
Yeah, the most important thing for me is like to keep the song there, you know. It's like okay, because sometimes you have like people, especially from dance music, and then they remix a song from a famous artist, and then they just make a beat and a bass and puts like a little vocal in it. That's because we also have it, you know, like people who are remixing lots of other stuff, and then I don't even recognize the song anymore. So what we try to do is when we do remixes, we keep the song there, you know, and that's what I think it's very very important. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
You just take a rhythm track, you put a bass there, you put like a little sample of the song, and then you have a remix. That's not how we see it. We try to keep the song like there the way they composed it, and we recreate it in our own way, you know, in our own style, but we pay tribute to the song.
Awesome. Recent works and future projects. Your album Mind Games had a few setbacks before its release. Could you discuss some of the challenges you have faced with that album and how you overcame them with that album, Mind Games?
With Mind Games, yeah, the thing was that Oliver Adams, who's now here with me after 22 years, is back on tour with me because he was living in Portugal for quite some time. But he wasn't there when I did Mind Games and also the album before that. That was, what was that album again? Soul Splitter, which is in fact one of my favorite Praga Khan albums. I love to listen to that album. For me, it's one of the best albums I've ever done. But yeah, it's when you're a team, you know each other. You work together for so many years. You know, you're like, yeah, you know each other so good that everything happens really fast. But then I had to work with someone else, so that's why it took me like a little bit longer. But still we managed to do it, and still I think that Mind Games and Soul Splitter too are two great albums. Like also with the Lord Sebastian albums, while Oliver was in Portugal, we did the album Deep Chills, Lord Sebastian, and we did also Pretty in King. And to me, these are also really good albums, you know.
Indeed.
Yeah, yeah. And that's also something like that disturbs me sometimes. It's that people always want to listen to the old stuff, you know, and that they don't give enough attention to the new stuff, because sometimes it has to do with nostalgia. You were young, you were listening to it, to Rough Sex, and okay, experienced it in at that certain moment, you know, and then it brings in nostalgia. And but later we made so many good songs that didn't have got the chance to prove themselves. You know what I mean?
Awesome. Looking forward, what projects or new ventures are you most excited about? Can fans expect any new music or collaborations in the new future? I heard a rumor that this is possibly the last tour for you in North America
Yeah,
for Praga Khan.
with Praga Khan we already stopped in Europe.
Okay.
Yeah, we did a couple of sold out shows in Brussels back like almost 2 years ago. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, you know. So all the fans were there. It was like one big party. There was one big party, like a couple of days. But this tour was scheduled before in for 2020, I think, and then COVID came, and then yeah, we had to cancel everything. Strange thing was that before I flew in 2020, I had a phone call with the management, phone call with the tour manager, phone call with the booking agent. So what's the situation in America with COVID at this moment? I said, we have never ever heard of COVID, but in Belgium, in Europe, it really started to get worse, you know. And then we arrived on the Wednesday. I will never ever forget it, you know, on the plane. We flew to Los Angeles, and we arrived. We arrived on the Wednesday. We had the rehearsal on the Thursday. We had the first show in San Diego on the Friday, and during the rehearsal on the Thursday, all our American musicians, their phones, they start ringing. You know, from tomorrow on, only 300 people allowed in the venue. So then for us it was already finished. You know. And then half an hour later, it was like an emergency situation. And the thing that we had to do is try to book a flight back to Europe because everything was closed. You know? They closed the airport in Brussels, and so we had to fly to England. And when we were taking the Eurostar to get home, to get back to our home, we were the only, like me and my wife, we were the only two people left in the train. Everything was like dead, you know. That was
My goodness.
really crazy.
From an artist perspective, are things starting to return back to normal post-COVID?
Yeah, the thing is that you have so many things planned, you know. You were looking forward to the tour. In your head, you're already playing these venues because most of the places we played many times. We know a lot of people there who were expecting us to come there. We were looking forward to see them, and then then okay, this happens, and you're sitting at home, and everything's gone. You know, it's like. But that was a moment for me. It was a weird moment because yeah, the tour was gone, and you sit there. There was not much that you could do because everything was closed, and that was the moment that I started to pick up my guitar, you know, my acoustic guitar, and compose like a lot of songs on acoustic guitar because there was time to do it because you couldn't do a concert, you could do nothing, eh? You couldn't even invite people at your home because, and then I recorded like I think 22 songs, acoustic songs.
Wow.
Yeah, but I never finished it. But they're there, and they're good. And because in a way we always make songs, you know.
Have you had a chance to finish any of those songs?
I finished them in demo versions.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and we were just talking about it, me and Oliver. That maybe it's good that first we have to finish the new Lords of Acid album, but maybe after that we can do that.
So what's the status on the new Lords of Acid album?
It's coming together. We have 16 demos so far. It's also I'm really surprised with Gigi as a performer, but also as a singer, also as a recording artist, because sometimes people ask me, why do you always change singers, you know? But I think that it also gives us inspiration.
Right.
when there's a new singer coming in, they have their own ideas. They listen to their music. To give you an idea, like Gigi listens a lot. She listens a lot to punk, to rock, to yeah, to metal, and that also inspires us. Then we ask her, okay, what's your favorite music? You know, play us some of your favorite music that we can incorporate it into the Lords of Acid atmosphere, into the new Lords of Acid album, and that's yeah, it's creative. You know, we allow our singers to be part of the creative concept. And also with our fans, we have a very, 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 very good relationship with our fans. We always involve fans, you know.
That you do. You've got a great fan base, great community, always getting people involved and engaged on social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram. You guys are always on top of it. I'm impressed with that.
Yeah, the thing is that the last two albums, we asked the fans that if we did a poll, that they could come up with a title. And that's so amazing. And then so they come up with titles, and then we put it in a poll, and people can choose. You know.
Is that how you got the Make Acid Great Again?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And also how we made the set list for today.
Oh, awesome! Yes. Your two newest members, Creighton and Gigi. How'd you come across those talented people?
Creighton, I think it was the tour before this one that Orgy was playing with us.
Oh.
Or was Orgy the band?
Yes.
They were a support act, and so we already knew each other with Creighton. And Creighton is also good friends with Dietrich and with our drummer, with Galen. So, and we know each other, so it was the right guy at the right time to join us now, because he's very, very active on stage. You know, he's a great guitar player. He's also a great performer, and he adds something extra.
He's got some good stage presence.
Yeah, very, very, very good. Yeah.
Same as Gigi too. How'd you come across meeting her?
Gigi, it's a story. It's like we have a common friend, you know, a guy. We know him, and so he said to give it a shot, and so we asked her to come to our place. So me and my wife, we did an audition with her. She was extremely, let's say, zenuwachtig. How do you say? Stressed, but it turned out to be a good choice. You know, everybody told us, "Oh, are you sure you can do it?" You know, because you're gonna do like 5 or 6 tryout concerts in Belgium, and you just take her on the road in America. Okay, we did it, and it turned out to be okay. You know, she came on stage in Pomona. She did a great performance, and the second day we had the big festival, Sick New World.
Yes.
And then she pulled it off, you know.
Amazing. Being in the music industry for over 4 decades, impressive. You've seen a lot of changes. What have been some of your greatest challenges?
Greatest challenges?
Over 40 years in the music industry.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Everything progressed from fax machines to the internet.
Yeah.
What's been some of the greatest challenges that you've seen in like being a music producer?
Yeah, the greatest challenges were because when I started my record company, it was like the days of vinyl, of course, you know, 82. So we sold a lot of vinyls. There were a lot of bands on my company, The Clinic, A Split Second, you know, all these bands. I was in a way, I was their record boss, you know. Like a lot of bands from the electronic body movement, like electronic music. And then at a certain moment there was a CD coming. So for us it was like a gift from heaven, you know, because all the material was already recorded, like all the costs were already made, all the masters were there, so we only had to press it on CD, and that was amazing for us. But then, let's see, in 97, 98, then everybody started to download. You had the Napster thing coming, and then we had to lay off people because everybody was downloading music for free, and that was like the biggest challenge that we had, you know, because the music business didn't react fast enough, you know. They felt it was not going to be that bad, you know. And so we had to lay off people. We had to overcome that problem, and then there was Spotify coming. But of course, now it's a different world because now you see also, like yesterday we played at Masquerade in Atlanta. You see there are 4 concerts at the same time going on. Today there are 3 concerts going on. Now now bands are making their money from live music. But back in the days, they were making their money from record sales, you know, and that's in a way it was unbelievable how it changed the record industry.
Well, currently, what's the current like high ticket goal for a musician? Is it the record sales? Is it concert tickets? Is it streaming? What is like the ultimate goal as an artist, musician, producer?
I think that you have to be like try to create a fan base. That's of course extremely important because you have YouTube, you have Instagram, you have TikTok, you have whatever. You can do a lot of promotion on your own, but in a way it's been so weird because I remember when Spotify came, you know, that I was invited to Oslo to Sonny Eriksson, and he said, "Yeah, we have something for you. We have to see that Spotify." And then when I entered the room, there were like all TV screens surrounding us, and they were all playing like Praga Khan songs. First thing that I was asking myself is, okay, and what with the rights, you know? They just were using our music, but they didn't think that way. They were thinking completely different. They were thinking, "Hey guys, we are making promo for you for free." It was like completely strange how technology companies were thinking about that. They were seeing it completely different. They were seeing it, okay, we give you the platform for free. You don't have to pay for it. But for us, it was like a nightmare because everybody was downloading everything for free. You know?
Right.
It was strange.
I don't think they've quite gotten it right yet.
Yeah.
Is there a streaming platform that you prefer as a artist and producer? Spotify, Pandora,
Yeah,
music?
I don't think. Yeah, you try to be on as many platforms as possible, because there's no other way, you know. So I think you have to create a fan base, go out and play as much as possible. You know?
Which platforms give you the greatest fan base?
Well, I think Spotify is the biggest one. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But okay, when you compare it to music sales like back in the days, it's like peanuts, of course. Yeah.
With such a diverse and long-standing career, what advice would you give to upcoming artists who you'd like to pioneer in the music industry? I mean, you already said, build that fan base, engage with your.
Yeah, I think that's
community.
that's the best lesson that I can give someone, you know, because I've been in music for so long. I've also been managing so many artists. I had so many artists on my record label, and I always see that the bands who have the best connection with their fans, you know, that they have the biggest chance to make it, because if you have no fans, you cannot go on tour, and you don't sell albums, and you don't get streamed. You know, you need that fan base, and you also need to be very, very thankful to your fans. You know, grateful that they're supporting you, because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. Because that's when I meet fans after every concert, it's okay. I like doing concerts. I like playing the set with Praga Khan, I like playing the set with Lord Sebastian, but at the end of the day, what I like the most is like meeting our fans, you know, and telling them that I'm so grateful to them that they've been supporting me all over the years, and they've been listening to the music. You know, and that's also what I hate by some artists, that they don't care about the fans. You know, some people are like really rude to fans sometimes.
Yeah, I've seen that happen.
Yeah,
Sad.
it's just disgusting.
Wrapping things up, May is also National Mental Health Awareness Month. What advice would you give to those fans that are struggling with mental health issues?
Yeah, mental health issues. Yeah, we always try to help everyone. You know, because I meet so many fans on the road that keep telling me your music changed my life, and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It's like or I was living in this little village and I was the only gay in the village. You know, and so I got into so many problems. But listening to your music, it helped me to get over it, and being myself, you know, having my own self-respect, and yeah, it's just, yeah, you have to believe in yourself, and everyone is unique, you know. It's in a way everyone is unique, because I did a show about 10 years ago, and I had 2,000 people that I recorded on the road, giving them the chance to be in the show in any form, you know. Sometimes it was on stage or on the screens or in the song, like doing like a vocal in a song. And that's what's the most important thing. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to know that you're like a unique person. You're the only person that exists in your genes, in your personality, and yeah, that's your most important power. Yeah, that's what I see as a power. You know, yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much. That's some great insight. Maurice, Praga Khan, it's been a pleasure discussing your remarkable journey in music, your career. Do you have any final thoughts, final closing words for the listeners, for fans?
Yeah. Okay. So we're working on a new album. We're working with a new singer. I think that it's going to be a very, very, very good album. We believe in it 100%, and we have a natural talent that we discovered with Gigi. So, and I hope that people are gonna stay coming to the gigs, you know, and see that we put a lot of effort in there. You know, we try to do our utmost best to give an as good as possible show. We do it for the fans, and yeah, that's why we do it. You know?